there are people you haven't even met who honestly may become an important part of your story. Real important. Hi everyone, it's Sandy Vecchi and welcome to No Rules, No Rules, Just You. So grab a cup of coffee or a glass of wine, as Jimmy Buffett said, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, and let's have a conversation. You know what nobody tells you about getting older? Okay, there's a lot of things nobody tells you, but for this podcast, we may have to learn how to make new friends all over again. And I have discovered something. Making friends at this age is a lot like dating. You might meet somebody you like, you have this great conversation, you laugh, and you think, ooh, he or she has friend potential. And then you go home and you wonder, like you did back when you were dating, did he like me too? Did she? And God forbid they say, we should definitely get together sometime. Because we all know, especially from our dating years, sometime could either mean like Tuesday or never. Welcome to Friendship After 60. Over the last several years, my husband and I have moved way more times than I care to admit. And every time we've moved, I've had to start over again, making new friends. Just about the time I develop a few really good relationships, usually through something I've joined or a group that I've become involved with, like a book club or something, or most recently, a substitute teaching job. We move. By the way, my substitute teaching job is an entire podcast in itself. I loved it. I made some wonderful friends that I still talk to today. And I collected enough material for at least 3 seasons of a reality TV show. But then we moved again to Chattanooga, where we are today. And here I am again, starting over. Friendship is one of those things you really don't think a whole lot about when you're younger, because they just happen organically through school, work, kids' friends who parents then become your friends. For most of our lives, friendship is built into the infrastructure of our lives. And then the infrastructure changes. We retire, we move, our kids grow up, people scatter, and some people we love are no longer here. And suddenly, if we want connection, we have to be much more intentional about creating it. It turns out this isn't just about having someone that you can meet for lunch. We actually need each other. The U.S. Surgeon General, here comes the statistics, has reported that social isolation is associated with a 29% higher risk of premature mortality, along with higher risks of heart disease and stroke. So apparently, friendship is right up there with eating your vegetables and getting some exercise, which frankly, that thrills me. That's great news, because I'd much rather have coffee with a friend than another serving of broccoli. But here's the problem. How do we make new friends when we're 60 or 70 or beyond? I think the first thing we have to accept is that these friendships, these new friendships, may look different. They aren't going to be the ones that have this 40-year history. You may not find the girlfriend who knew you when you had big hair or blue eyeshadow and thought shoulder pads were a good idea. They weren't. You won't have all those shared memories. And that's okay, because new friendships don't have to have this long history to have value. We can still find people who make us laugh. Right now, people who make us think. People we can call and just say, you are never going to believe what happened to me today. And for us girls, we need our gal pals. Someone to sit across from over a cup of coffee or a glass of wine and talk about our kids, our husbands, boys. Yes, I said boys. we're older, we're not dead. We just like to kibitz. There is something about sitting across from another woman and talking about absolutely everything and absolutely nothing. That is good for our soul. And guys, don't think I forgot about you. You need this too. Maybe you probably won't call it kibitzing. Maybe it's a golf game, a fishing trip, or just sitting somewhere with a beer and not saying much of anything at all. But you need your buddies too. Someone you can call when the Cowboys have blown their lead in the fourth quarter. Or when you just need to talk to somebody who isn't going to ask you how you're feeling about it. Men need connection every bit as much as women do. You may not admit it, but they need it. You just build it differently. And that's fine. There's no wrong way to do this, as long as you're actually doing it. But finding those people at this stage of life requires something from us. We have to put ourselves out there where the people are, by maybe joining something or volunteering, taking a part-time job, joining a walking group, a book club, maybe it's been something you never tried before. And don't assume that everyone needs to be your age. Big misnomer. Some of the most interesting friendships we can develop at this stage of our life may be with people who are 10, 20, even 30 years younger than we are, or maybe older. Research, here we go again, on intergenerational friendships suggests those relationships, those intergenerational ones, can expose us to different perspectives and contribute to our well-being. But here's the bigger thing I've learned. When you meet someone you like, make the first move. This is where we get weird. Well, he has my number. She has my number. If they really want to get together with me, they'll call. Why? Maybe he's sitting at home, she's sitting at home, saying exactly the same thing you're saying. Somebody has to make the first move. So send the text. Could go like this. Love talking to you today. Would you like to grab a cup of coffee, glass of wine next week? Doesn't have to be a friendship proposal. You don't need to wait 3 days because you don't want to look too interested or too needy. Again, we're making friends. We're not on Tinder looking for dates. And yes, sometimes you'll reach out and nothing will happen. Sometimes the chemistry won't be there, just like it was when we dated. That's okay. Not every person we meet is supposed to become part of our lives, our best buddy. But some of them are. And we'll never know which ones if we don't take the chance. I think one of the biggest mistakes we can make at this stage of our life, well, with friends anyway, is believing that people who matter most should already be in our lives. That somehow the friendship window has closed. It hasn't. There are people you haven't even met who honestly may become an important part of your story. Real important. They may not remember you at 25. Yeah, they weren't there when your children were being born or when you raised them. They don't know every version of you that came before this one, but they can know the person you are now. And perhaps that's one of the gifts of making friends later in life. We get to meet each other exactly where we are today. So if there's somebody you've met recently who, made you laugh, who made you think, who made you walk away thinking, I really liked him, I really liked her. Don't sit around wondering if they liked you too. Send the text, make the call, ask them for coffee, a glass of wine, or for the guys a beer. Because this stage of life, friendship may take a little more effort. It may require a little more courage. And every once in a while, it requires being the one who makes the first move. Until next time, remember, the best part of your story isn't behind you. It's the third act you're writing right now. So give yourself permission to ask new questions, to dream new dreams, to become more of the person you've always been, beneath the titles, the responsibilities, and the roles. Because this isn't, no, the end of your story. It's the beginning of the most meaningful act of your life. No roles, no rules, just you.